Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of the Surfermaru from Shuriken Sentai Ninninger. So before we get started with the main parts, let's go ahead and just take a very quick look at the packaging like we usually do. Just so I can get out of the way. It doesn't take up that much room, but just enough that it's kind of annoying. So pretty typical fare here, really nothing to write home about. You got a picture of Surfermaru in his various forms on the front, shows how it combines with Shurikenjin, shows another little action shot of it, shows the Shuriken it comes with. I almost forgot what those are called. I'm like, you know, the thingy with the spinning. Then on the bottom it advertises they can work with Ichibantou and stuff. Shows off more of what it can do on the sides and whatnot. On the back, same deal, shows off what it can do. Its compatibility can also combine with Bison King and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to get it out of the way just because we're going to be bringing in some other Megazords later. Alright, but here we have Surfermaru in its first mode, which is kind of its little submarine-esque mode, which is pretty neat. Overall, I have to say, like, spoiler alert, I actually kind of really dig this guy in terms of design and stuff. So he's kind of in this little submarine, like, shark mode. It kind of looks like a shark, and he's kind of got submarine-esque qualities. I don't know why, I'm just thinking of Submarimon from Digimon, but what's kind of neat is I like that the Shuriken is like the propeller on the back. I think that's kind of a neat little thing. So yeah, he really doesn't do much in this mode, but you can twist around. You can completely dismantle him just by hitting him, being like, you're dead. You can twist around his Shuriken if you're not messing up. Let's get him back in there. Let's do this again, but you gotta do it delicately and not kill him. That's why you shouldn't try this at home, even though I'm doing this a review so you could possibly buy this for your home. But you can twist that around and do propeller action and not destroy him. So that was pretty fun. Not that, but I mean the breaking apart. This was no fun. I mean, it's kind of neat that you can do that because it's a propeller, but it's not really that fun. But yeah, that's really all it does. There's not much to write home about here. There's really not a lot to write home about in this review since I've said that twice. So for his other mode, just take off the Shuriken, and we'll set it aside because we can show off that in a minute. And as you already saw in that spoiler alert, take this piece off. And this piece here is really easy to transform because all you really do is unfold it like that. And it's going to be all like a rolling surfboard. And then this is pretty easy as well. Just kind of start folding it out. Take this little piece, fold it, and fold it forward so that you got the little head here. These are going to be little arms. There you go. Flip these out. There's little feet. Now he's a little humanoid. And he can kind of bend because, well, obviously he's going to be able to go in Shurikenjin and also so he can do a surfer pose. There's a little peg right on here. There's a peg actually right between his legs. Place it on here. You can kind of get him in a surfing pose. You can actually turn his head. And there you go. He is ready to do the reboot of Johnny Tsunami. And then subsequently, Johnny Kabahala back on board. Surfermaru edition. No, I'm just kidding. But he turns into a little surfer guy, which is really neat. Ever since we saw this guy in the like initial little scans that look like they were taken by a sweaty guy in a hurry that are super blurry, I always dug this guy's design. I think it's pretty neat. I dig that all the Otomonin have a little, well, you know, the auxiliary ones at least, have a little humanoid mode to go with it. And I think this guy is just pretty neat. I dig his little robot mode. It's not like hugely articulated, but I like being able to sort of get him in a surfing pose. I like the whole surfboard aspect of it. I just think it's kind of overall just a really neat design. I think it's very fun and easy to transform. It's got a cool little design. He's probably my favorite individually of the Otomonin just because I just dig him. I think he's a neat little guy. Now before we transform it with the Megazord, let me just quickly show off the Shuriken in the, well, the Shuriken itself and then the Shuriken and the Morpher. But here it is, pretty typical fare. There's not much to write home about. Man, that's the phrase of the review. Take a drink of something safer every time I say that. But you got the little blade around here, which is removable like usual. So that's, you know, a thing. Now let me see if I can put it back on correctly. There we go. His little face plate will obviously move because of the transformation. You press the button on the back and Surfer Jar. It's a Surfer Jar again. And when you're going to put it in here, it's essentially going to do the same thing. So yeah, stuff like that, and when you keep pressing it, you'll just cycle through the noises I just showed you. So nothing that special or different from all the other ones. Obviously you can also put it in the frog gun as well. It doesn't activate any new sounds, but you know, obviously it's a compatible thing. Alright, so now we're going to transform it with Shurikenjin first. So I'm just going to take him off of here. This can pretty much stay as is. The only thing we're really going to be doing differently is you see there's these little pegs here at the bottom, and we're going to be pulling one or the other out depending on which one. I believe it's this one. Well, you know, I'll find out in a second. But you basically just leave this the same. The only thing you're going to have to do is flip one of these other up, depending on which guy you're transforming with. Now, I'm going to bring in the Headless Shuriken, not to be confused with the Headless Horseman, or I guess it's bodiless. I went ahead and did the prep because, you know, you probably pretty much know what it is if you've been watching these reviews. You just, you know, swap out Shinobi Maru to the hand, put Dump Maru's hand on the back here, and you got the empty cockpit already. So for this, let me see which one it is. I think it is indeed this one. I think so. So there are these little flip out pegs here, if I can get it to go. It's always, you know what, it's always after you cut your nails that you need them. There we go. I'm just going the wrong way, so that really wasn't helping. But yeah, so there's a little snap on the bottom, and now he's going to be riding the surfboard. Just have him be very careful. So that clip on the right side here is for Shurikenjin. So there you go. So now he's ready for here. And then it's pretty much like normal. You're just going to be positioning him in there to sit. Let me go ahead and put him in the little handles. And then you're going to press him back in there until he hits the little clip. Edit here. Alright, so he's got the clip in there. Now let me readjust his hands since they sort of came out there. Alright, so he's sitting in there, sitting pretty just like all the other ones. And then as usual, just take this, flip it down, and we'll put the head on and we'll get his unique jingle. Alright, and there we have Shurikenjin Surfer. So pretty much like the other ones, you just kind of replace the midsection guy and the Shuriken so you get a different helmet. And I really do dig this mode as well. It's not like it changes the formula for what it does, but I really dig his little faceplate. I think it looks really funny. It's like a little grin, and I think it's very fitting of it. I just kind of dig it overall. I dig its whole vibe. And then it's riding on a surfboard here, which is kind of neat. You definitely have to be careful with it because it can have a tendency to fall off fairly easily, but you can now roll. Look. I don't know what kind of sound effect that is. That isn't even a surfing sound effect, but yeah, so it's kind of a neat mode. I really don't have too much else to say other than I dig it, just like I kind of dig his other individualized modes. I just like dig the faceplate and the overall sort of look it brings to it. There's just something about it that works for me in terms of the design. Now, as I talked about at the beginning, you can also transform with Bison King. I'm just going to cut away to having all the stuff ready in here just to save a little time. Okay, so now we have Headless Bison King in here. That's really not too much difference. Not in Bison King, but I mean in terms of what I have to do. But just like with the other one, you're going to be putting the pieces on the bottom. So flip the other one up right here and snap it in. There you go. So now he's riding on the surfboard here with his giant feet. So he's got that going on. And then with this guy, it's essentially kind of like the other one. It's just replacing this guy for Rodeo Maru. So you're going to have him riding on here like he's riding a bike. And then just fold his feet in a little bit to sort of, you know, get rid of him. Alright, I'm going to put his head down as well. Except he can't ride it as well as Rodeo Maru. He has to look down in shame constantly. And then take this, and we're going to place it on top. All right, and that's pretty much it for that. Obviously, that's not Shurikenjin, so it doesn't have a differentiating sound, but this guy's okay. It's definitely not as cool as the other ones. It's neat that you can do it, though. Who knows if they'll use it in the show? I feel like it would make sense they would, since they did give this guy the star a few episodes ago, since it's recording. But his head's just kind of elongated, which is kind of strange, and you can definitely tell that he's kind of sitting on top of there, and the lighting just changed randomly. But yeah, it's definitely neat you can do that, regardless if they do it in the show. It's just a neat playability-wise that you can have his own mode for that and stuff, even if it's not quite as cool as the other ones in there. And, you know, you could be watching this in the future, and they could have used it in the show the most ever, so I could look like an idiot for saying they might not use it. Alright, so now let's go ahead and just, you know, transform him back to do the final verdict. Alright, so we got it back in his little surfer mode, which is probably my favorite. But yeah, overall, like I mentioned several times in this, I do like this guy. I think he's a fun Otomonin. His transformations are fun and easy. I dig both of his individual Zord modes, and I like his combination with Shurikenjin. The Bison King one isn't that great, but it's still neat that you can do it. So overall, if you are collecting this line, I can recommend picking it up. If you're, you know, if you're already in it, I think it's a fun one, and it definitely adds a little bit fun to the line as well. It's probably my favorite of the ones currently released. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangersrambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Stawsome Writer, signing out.